This morning on Chris 6 Sunrise, the fate of 7 CCISD schools hangs in the balance today as it will be decided. We're taking a look at where students will be moved to if these closures take place.
And outrage in Odom may intensify tonight, tied to the arrest of an Odom High School athlete. We're tracking developments ahead of the school district's board meeting.
And the trial for the Uvalde school officer is now in its second week. We have a recap. What has happened so far? Hey there, good Monday morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on Chris 6 Sunrise and Waking Up with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. Folks, today is Monday, so we got to get you ready for that first day back to work or something like that, right? Let's check in with meteorologist Stephen Jones for a look at the roadways and the weather. Hey, good morning, Stephen.
Well, good morning, you guys. And you're right, it's not too bad as we're kicking off our Monday morning. Just a little chilly out there in the 50s, but luckily not too much fog and traffic is flowing nice and smooth. Plenty of greens on the map. Here's a live look at our SPID Skycam. You can see a few more cars definitely heading out compared to when we were seeing it over the holidays, but luckily they are flowing nice and smooth without too many slowdowns there on SPID. So getting a good look at that traffic flow across the entire region. Plenty of greens on the map. If you're heading to or from Portland this morning on the New Harbor Bridge, no issues there, as well as 361 heading in or to or from Ingleside. Now over towards Robstown and Calallen, both 37 and 44 for the most part in the clear. Only a very minor slowdown as you're working up towards Violet. Now into our neck of the woods, Ocean Drive, SPID, Saratoga, and the Crosstown Expressway all coming in the clear. Only a very minor slowdown on Rodfield coming up to SPID. Finally, a look over towards Flower Bluff. Definitely want to give yourself a couple extra minutes heading up towards the Naval Air Station, seeing that stop and go traffic, but for the most part, going to be a good and green morning as we're kicking off our Monday.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate it. So CCISD leaders will meet today to finalize their decision on whether or not they're going to close 7 schools this year. In a meeting on Friday, school board members and district staff outlined reasons for this potential closure, such as low student enrollment, facility maintenance issues, and of course, those budget constraints.
Seeing fewer students, and when that happens, it reduces the per student funding, and also budget constraints, which it leads to. The financial pressure, inflation has increased operational expenses, insurance, fuel, maintenance for many, many districts, including our own.
So the district faces a $27 million deficit, and closing the schools would save it about $11 million. So if the district goes forward with the closures, students would be reassigned to other schools within CCISD. Check it out. Fannin Elementary students would be rezoned to Berlanga, Garcia, and Hicks Elementary schools. Castoris and Sanders Elementary School students would be rezoned to Dawson, Galvan, Los Encinos, and Yeager Elementary. Travis students would be rezoned to Allen, Houston, Shaw, and Zavala. Brown Middle School students and Haas students would be rezoned to Atkins, Grant, and Hamlin Middle School. And Martin Middle School students would get rezoned to Cunningham and Driscoll Middle School. If consolidation is approved, then the proposed effective date is going to be August of this year.
Parents in Odom are expected to speak out today at the Odom Edroy ISD board meeting about the arrest of an Odom High School athlete charged with indecency with a child. Last week, parents spoke with Neighborhood News reporter Adam Beam about the incident. It happened on December 9th during a bus ride home from a high school basketball game, and one parent in particular spoke with Chris 6 News as long as they remained anonymous. They said their student was assaulted on the night in question, and the parent said coaches did not get up when the commotion was heard from the back of the bus.
Like I said, I put my trust in the school to keep my kids safe, and if you can't keep high school kids safe, how can I trust you to keep any younger kids safe?
The district released a statement last week saying out of respect for the ongoing law enforcement investigation, the district is unable to share specific details at this time.
So testimony does continue today in the trial of former Uvalde school officer Adrian Gonzalez. The prosecutors allege that Gonzalez endangered dozens of students by failing to quickly confront the shooter who took the lives of 19 kids and 2 teachers in May of 2022. Gonzalez has pleaded not guilty. Last week, the judge in the case denied a request for mistrial after testimony from a former Robb Elementary teacher was not properly shared with prosecutors and deferred from what was initially said to Texas Rangers. So far, the jury has heard from at least 10 witnesses, including a teacher that lost 11 students on that day and a Texas Ranger who investigated the crime scene.
The Department of Justice has launched a criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and the renovation of the Federal Reserve's headquarters. Prosecutors accuse Powell of lying to Congress when he testified before the Senate Banking Committee last June about the cost of the renovations. The price tag on the renovations is about $2.5 billion, and Powell pushed back against accusations that the project was mismanaged. He said the threat from the Justice Department is more about disagreements he has with President Donald Trump over lowering interest rates.
Well, hey there, and good Monday morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a live look at our Snoopy Skycam. Thanks to Matthew CCAC. Plenty of cloud cover overhead. Those temperatures in the mid-50s with winds out of the north at 10 miles an hour. I'd definitely call it jacket worthy as we're heading out for our Monday morning. But what to expect for the rest of the week? Well, we're going to be a cloudy and cool start as we're pushing into today and tomorrow. But that rain chance actually ticks up the board as we're going into tonight. Also going to stick around as we're going into tomorrow. Now, not going to be a total downpour out there. Don't cancel those plans. But just so you know, there will be a chance at it. Through the week ahead, we're going to see those back and forth temperatures bouncing back and forth a little bit between the 60s and 70s. That's going to be thanks to a couple cold fronts on the way. Of course, I'll get into those. Starting off with the temperatures, though, in your neck of the woods, going to be a couple 40s sprinkled in there. 47 degrees for our cool spot is freer this morning. 48 as you work your way up to Cotulla, and then 55 along the coast at the Naval Air Station. 53 for Port Aransas, Hebronville rounding us out at 50 degrees on the money. For our dog walking forecast this Monday, going to be Elvis on the board, not quite ready to let go of that Christmas spirit, and hey, I don't blame you at all, Elvis. Looking at those temperatures, going to be climbing through the 50s by 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 60 degrees on the board, already getting into those lower 60s by that lunchtime hour, so not too bad of a Monday, maybe even able to keep the jacket with you all day. Those daytime highs in your neck of the woods, going to be chasing the mid-60s closer to the coast, chasing that 70-degree mark as we work our way a little bit further south, but either way, definitely around that average. We're supposed to be 67 degrees for this time of year, so right where we want to be. For the Doppler radar, a little bit of rain trying to push into southwestern portions of the coastal bend, but this is going to work its way in towards the Corpus Christi area as we're going into tonight. Those rain chances through today, for most of us, going to remain dry here in Corpus Christi and most of the coastal bend, but they start to improve as we're going into the overnight hours. That's going to be thanks to more of that moisture that's working overhead, that Pacific moisture that's really driving those showers that we're seeing into the southwestern area right now. How that could shape up on the future tracker, at least according to this high-res model, looking like I definitely agree with it going towards the 8 to 10 p.m. time frame, maybe just a little bit early on the timing here, but towards tonight we'll start to see more of those yellows and greens on the board, and as we go into the overnight hours, holding on to just a couple of them. Then we'll see another round as we go into tomorrow, potentially by the later afternoon hours into the evening, but after that works through, looks like we're going to dry out into the rest of the work week. Temperature-wise for this week, looking into the upper levels, you can see focusing on the Midwest, this is where that trough of cold air really going to be pushing down into Texas, and then going to be a little bit of a double whammy going into the week ahead. This secondary core of cold air really bearing down on Wisconsin there by Saturday. Going to send another cold front our way by that Friday time frame, so luckily this is going to hold us in the 60s, but also not going to be as strong to get us down to freezing levels or anything like that. Those forecast high temperatures, this is what it's going to look like, holding us around that average for the work week, but after we get out of the 7-day forecast, looks like we're going to be on the warm-up heading into the back half of January. So for that 7-day forecast, there's that rain chance to start us off. Those cold fronts work in to keep us around average for this week, but looking like a beautiful weekend with sunshine and temperatures around that 70-degree mark.
Coming up, the Department of Justice's open investigation into the Federal Reserve's renovation of its D.C. headquarters. Coming up on Sunrise, we're going to get the latest on this investigation from Scripps News Group's Joe St. George in Washington. Welcome back, folks. 6:12 is your time, getting a live look from our studio Skycam of the whole city. Looking gorgeous right now, although it's chilly out there. Going to be checking in with meteorologist Stephen Jones to find out exactly how chilly and when we're going to warm up. But first, we got some national headlines to talk about. This one is important, folks. The Federal Reserve has confirmed that the Department of Justice has launched a criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and the renovation of the Federal Reserve's almost 2-century-old headquarters.
Now, for more, we bring in our Deputy Political Director, Joe St. George, this morning. Good morning, Joe. So can you break down the investigation for our viewers, and what is the President and the Federal Reserve saying about the investigation?
Well, this story isn't really 12 hours old yet. All of this breaking on Sunday night in a rare video statement by the Federal Reserve Chairman. He confirmed in that video statement that he received subpoenas on Friday and that this investigation is centering around Powell's testimony to Congress and whether or not he lied last summer, all regarding this construction project in Washington, the renovation of the Federal Reserve's headquarters in our nation's capital, which has experienced massive cost overruns over the course of the last several years. It's attracted the attention and criticism of the Trump administration. But Federal Reserve Chairman Powell looked into the camera and insinuated that there were alternative motives for this investigation. The reason he's being investigated is because he's disagreed with the Trump administration over how to aggressively cut interest rates. Take a listen.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
Notable statement there from the Federal Reserve Chairman. As far as President Trump goes, in a brief interview with NBC News on Sunday night, the president said he didn't know anything about this investigation. So that's a storyline we'll be watching. But where I'm at on Capitol Hill in Washington, there's bipartisan outrage that this investigation has been launched. Yes, you're hearing from the familiar critics of the Trump administration, Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, calling Trump a, quote, wannabe dictator. But one statement stood out to me as I was scrolling through my inbox this morning. Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina. He's a Republican senator. He's so outraged by this. He thinks that the independence of the Fed and the Department of Justice is being brought into question with this investigation. He's vowing to not support any Trump nominees to the Fed until all of this can be ironed out. Powell is vowing to stay on the job for the remainder of his term. Remember, his job's set to expire this coming spring as the leader of the Fed. President Trump is set to appoint his replacement. No telling how this active investigation may impact all of this. This is just the latest foe of the president to experience an investigation by the Department of Justice. We've seen investigations into John Bolton, investigations into James Comey, the former FBI director, the New York Attorney General. This is now added to the list. It's just an investigation. Powell hasn't been charged with anything, but this is a storyline we'll be watching throughout the day and the weeks ahead.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, we look forward to talking again soon and seeing how the markets react in just a couple of hours. Thank you very much, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, hey there, and good Monday morning, Coastal Bend. Getting a live look at our USS Lexington cam thanks to First Community Bank, the new Harbor Bridge and Aquarium, both putting on a good show this morning, but definitely want to take the jacket with you out the door. 52 degrees on the board, winds out of the north about 8 miles an hour. Not going to make it any warmer out there. Over the past 10 hours, we've seen a decent cool down from 59 degrees at 9 p.m. last night down to 50 around that 2 to 3 a.m. hour, and then with all the cloud cover overhead, seeing those temperatures really hover around the lower 50s here in Corpus Christi. A couple of those 40s are sprinkled in portions of the Coastal Bend, though. 47 degrees over in Freer is the cool spot. 48 as you work your way up to Beeville, Robstown coming in at 51 degrees. And then Ingleside also a chilly 49 to start off our morning. As we go in through the next few hours and through our Monday, going to be on the warm up towards those mid 60s into the afternoon. So maybe even able to keep the jacket with you into this afternoon, but looking just about perfect for it. For the overnight hours, only going to see those 50s once again. So luckily avoiding any of those freezing cold temperatures as we're going through the week ahead. But one thing we're going to watch for, a little bit of rain that's going to try to push in as we go into tonight and tomorrow. Already for southwestern portions of the Coastal Bend, seeing some specks of green on the radar. Still questionable if it's even actually reaching the ground, since dew points near the surface, very dry out there in the 20s and 30s. But in terms of the mid levels of the atmosphere, you can see this trough of low pressure around the Baja Peninsula of Mexico. That's going to send some Pacific moisture into South Texas. That's going to be the driving factor for a lot of these showers we'll see tonight and into tomorrow. So when we get this pattern that really sets up overhead, it's not big downpours that really set up typically, but some more of those yellows and greens on the board, some light shower activity. So here's how that could shape up on the future tracker. As we go towards about 8 to 10 p.m. tonight, I want to say this might be just a little aggressive on the timing. Closer to that late overnight hours, though, we'll see some of those yellows and greens really working into the area. Not everybody going to get that drink of rainfall, but there will be a few winners out there. Towards tomorrow, more of that spotty activity expected as we're heading into the later afternoon and the evening hours, but also going to be the same story where not not everybody gets that drink of rainfall and not going to be a total drought buster for us here in the coastal bend. In terms of temperatures for those upper levels, you can see keeping my eyes on the Midwest where this trough of low pressure really bears down by Wednesday night into Thursday. Good cold front works our way then, but then a little bit of a double whammy situation. This secondary core of cold air really pushes in by by Friday night into Saturday. That's where we'll see that next cold front pushing into the coastal bend. So luckily that keeps us closer to average, and our average is supposed to be about 67 degrees for this time of year, so we will definitely take it here in the coastal bend. Here's how that could shape up on the forecast. High temperatures through about Sunday into Monday, still holding on to close to average temperatures, but heading towards the back half of January, at least the latest late long range model guidance does have us on the warm up, maybe pushing towards those 80s. So going to enjoy these 60s and 70s while we have them for right now. For that 7-day forecast, you can see how we're holding around average for most of the work week. A little bit of rain as we're kicking off today and tonight and tomorrow, I should say. As we go into the weekend, though, if you have any of those weekend plans, looking great for it with plenty of sunshine and temperatures around 70.
The holidays have come and gone, and by now those credit card bills have made their way to your inbox. Still ahead on Sunrise, though, how President Trump is pushing for relief.
And it is the start of a brand new work week, folks, and we've got some changes in gas prices to talk about. Don't worry, though. I have the cheapest prices all around the coastal bend when we come back. Welcome back, folks. So as you know, each and every week, twice a week, I check in on those gas prices for you. And let me tell you, we've seen some big jumps here locally. I'll get to that in a minute, but let's take a look at the averages first. According to Gas Buddy, we're looking at $2.74 as the national average. That's actually down by 6 cents since Friday. As the Lone Star State, $2.33 is the average and down by 4 cents since Friday. And hey, we can do a bit better here in the coastal bend, right? The Corpus Christi average, that was $2.27, down by 8 cents since Friday. As for the cheapest here in Corpus Christi, though, other than Sam's Club, of course, the Circle K near Staples and Holly. I know it's not right there exactly, just a little bit south of that, but that's $2.19. Now, be aware, though, that was updated 13 hours ago. So keep an eye on any price jumps, as they are definitely known to do so. As for our Portland friends, the cheapest price I was able to find is $2.21 over at the Murphy USA next to the Walmart. And if you're out there on the island, looks like the cheapest price is $2.31 at the Valero and SPID and $3.61. Be warned, though, we've seen some Valeros jump up to $2.70 since last night. So watch out for that. If you can find cheaper prices than these guys, especially because they do fluctuate during the day, I'm going to stop and fill up. I have all these prices posted on our website, christv.com.
Well, hey there, and good Monday morning, Coastal Bend. Getting a live look at our USS Lexington cam thanks to First Community Bank. The new Harbor Bridge in view. A few cars heading out for that Monday morning commute, but luckily flowing nice and smooth out there. As we get a good look at the traffic flow across our entire region, plenty of greens on the map, so let's get right into it here. Just like we saw on the Skycam, the Harbor Bridge coming in clear if you're heading to or from Portland. Only a minor slowdown there on 361 between Gregory and Ingleside this morning. Over towards Robstown and Calallen now. A minor slowdown on 44 near Violet, but 37 if you're heading in from Calallen in the clear. Over towards our neck of the woods, really not too many slowdowns, only a very minor one on Rodfield as you're working up towards SPID. So let's work on over towards Flower Bluff. A minor slowdown there on Waldron Road to account for a couple extra minutes, but definitely if you're heading up towards the Naval Air Station. Other than that, looking like a pretty good and green Monday morning.
I'm John Matarese. Furniture buyers in 17 states are discovering the store they ordered from is in bankruptcy and their orders could be in jeopardy. What you need to know about shopping from a store that may be closing.
Well, good Monday morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a look at Snoopy Skycam thanks to Matthew CCAC. Sitting in those 50s out there. Definitely jacket worthy as we're kicking off our Monday morning. A decent amount of cloud cover overhead, but luckily looks like it's going to turn into some rain as we're going into the overnight hours. But first, taking a look at what to expect for the rest of this work week. Well, we're going to have these cloudy and cool conditions for today, and of course, as we push into tomorrow also. But those rain chances, like I talked about, going to tick up the board as we go into tonight and tomorrow, thanks to some of that cloud cover and some specific moisture that's working overhead. But into the rest of the work week, well, luckily we're going to be sticking around average. 67 degrees is that average. Back and forth temperatures between those 60s and 70s. That's going to be thanks to a couple of cold fronts on the way. Starting off with those temperatures out there, there's definitely a couple cool spots in terms of feels like temperatures. 45 degrees is what you're walking out to this morning in Freer, 46 up to the north in Beeville. Closer to the coast, a little bit more comfortable at the Naval Air Station. Coming in at that feels like temperature around 55 degrees. For a dog walking forecast this Monday, today we've got Elvis here, not quite ready to let go of the Christmas spirit. I don't blame him. It's a wonderful time of year, of course. And as we look at the temperatures for Elvis's walk, only going to be climbing through those 50s by 10 a.m. into the lower 60s as we're getting ready to head out for that lunchtime hour. Winds out of the north may be worthy of keeping that jacket around for Elvis as well today. For those forecast highs in your neck of the woods, going to be chasing mid-60s along the coast, maybe even that 70-degree mark as you work your way a little bit further south, getting closer to the valley, but overall really close to the average. And remember, I said that's around 67 degrees. That's where we're going to be for the majority of this week. For that Doppler radar, though, we do have a little bit of rain trying to push into the coastal bend already. Is questionable if it's even reaching the ground, but far southwestern portions right now already starting to see some of those specks of green on the board. But as we go into tonight, those rain chains is going to improve a little bit more. The driving factor for really all of these rain showers that have been setting up so far, you can see this swirl of low pressure over the Baja Peninsula of Mexico. That's where we're getting some Pacific moisture that's working into South Texas as a result. So we're super dry at the surface, but just up in the air a little bit. That's where we have more of that moisture and where those rain showers are really originating from. How that could shape up on the future tracker going into tonight. Now, I think this model's just a little aggressive on the timing, but either way, it gets the point across for sure. By late tonight, we start to see more of those greens and yellows on the board working in. Not everybody gets that drink of rainfall working into the area, but we do see a few spotty showers into tonight, holding that into the overnight hours, and maybe another redevelopment going into tomorrow, but overall still going to be questionable if it's reaching the ground. So not a total drought buster for us, but just keep in mind, so it could see a few drops of rain on the windshield as we're going through these next couple of days. For temperature wise, we're going to be seeing a couple cold fronts working in, especially by that Wednesday night time frame. You see this first core of cold air pushing in, but then a little bit of a double whammy by Friday night into Saturday. The stronger core of cold air really bears down on that Wisconsin area. Looks like it's going to send a secondary cold front into our neck of the woods. That's where we're going to keep those temperatures around the average, luckily, but latest long-term guidance has us warming up into the back half of January. So going to take these 60s and enjoy them while we have them for this week. Those temperatures push the 70s by Wednesday after we get rid of this rain that we're dealing with for the first part of the week. Then we're going to have plenty of sunshine in store heading towards the weekend. Those temperatures going to be sticking around 70.
New economic data points to a sluggish labor market. I'm Stephanie Liebergen. Coming up, what that could mean for you if you're looking for a new job.
Welcome back, folks. A federal judge has halted the Trump administration's freeze of $10 billion in social assistance and child care funding for 5 Democrat-led states. The judge ordered the White House to remove any restrictions on the state's ability to access the funds while the case moves forward. The ruling comes a day after the 5 states filed a lawsuit claiming the funding freeze was unconstitutional. The states also argued the move violated the laws and regulations governing the federal aid programs. And President Donald Trump says he wants to put a limit on credit card interest rates. In a Truth Social post Friday, the president said the American public is, quote, ripped off. It's being ripped off, and called for a 1-year cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. Trump wants the cap to take effect January 20th, marking the 1-year anniversary of his return to the White House.
So with the new jobs data that was just released on Friday, it's showing us a fuller picture of the state of the U.S. economy. Deep T's not so good. U.S. employers added their fewest numbers of jobs since the pandemic. Scripps News Group's Stephanie Liebergen takes a look at the state of the labor market and what it means for job seekers.
Many Americans who are looking for work or wanting to pivot to a new job know the job market has been stubborn over the past year, and new data out Friday really confirms that. The unemployment rate ticked down slightly, but millions of Americans are still struggling to find work. The U.S. economy ended 2025 on a sluggish note.
If we had to describe our labor report in a word, it would be unimpressive.
The U.S. employers added just 50,000 jobs in December, according to new government data out Friday. The economy added 584,000 jobs total in 2025, the fewest since the height of the pandemic in 2020.
This has been a low hire, low fire job market, and for the full year, adding something close to 600,000 jobs, that is down sharply from 2 million jobs added in 2024.
The Trump administration, though, called 2025 a blockbuster year of job growth, and Republican lawmakers are projecting optimism as we start the new year.
And I think what you're going to see in 2026 is an economy that is booming and jobs being created.
Despite slow job growth, the U.S. economy continued to expand last year, driven by consumer spending. But that's mostly thanks to upper-class consumers, according to Bankrate's Mark Hamrick.
Those who are wealthiest are in a very good position here, but middle income, middle wealth, lower income, lower wealth Americans have really been struggling.
Consumers are feeling a bit better about the overall economy, according to new data out from the University of Michigan. But a weak labor market means millions of Americans are struggling to find work.
For folks who are wanting to switch jobs or for folks who are unemployed, this is a pretty rough economic situation. You might be looking, but firms aren't hiring.
Stephanie Lieberman, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Well, hey there, and happy Monday morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a look at our SPID Skycam, you can see a few cars heading out for that Monday morning commute, but luckily flowing nice and smooth. Pretty chilly out there, though, 52 degrees. Probably want to take the jacket with you as we're heading out the door this morning. Not going to notice that humidity all day, though. Those dew points are in the teens as you work your way inland, pushing the 30s closer to the coast, but even the 30s you're not going to notice as you step out the door. Luckily, in the upper levels, or at least the mid levels, we do have some more moisture. That's going to be the driving factor for some of those rain showers that work in by tonight into tomorrow. For temperatures in your neck of the woods, the cool spot looking like Beeville this morning, 49 degrees so far, 50 on the money as you work your way over into Alice, 55 towards the Naval Air Station, but across the board, those winds out of the northwest around 5 to 10 miles an hour. So definitely jacket worthy and maybe even able to keep it with you all day, only chasing those 60s for daytime highs. As far as the radar is concerned, probably going to be staying dry on your morning commute, but a few showers trying to push into far southwestern portions of the Coastal Bend. Going into later today, like I talked about, only chasing 66 degrees for that daytime high, plenty of cloud cover overhead. But as we go into tonight, that's where we're going to start to see those rain chances ticking up on the board just a little bit as we're heading in towards the overnight hours, even holding on to some of this activity as we're going into our Tuesday. Not going to be a total drought buster, but we'll pick up a good dose of that rain. I'll go over all those rain chances, including the 7-day forecast, of course, coming up.
Now, 20 minutes of non-stop news, sponsored by Ewald Kubota.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of nonstop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. Folks, we have plenty of neighborhood news for you this Monday morning. But first, we got to check in with meteorologist Stephen Jones to see how those roadways are looking for everyone ready to head out the door. Hey, good morning, Stephen.
Hey, buddy.
Well, good morning, you guys. You know, looking pretty good so far. Plenty of greens on the map, a lot of cloud cover overhead. Not any rain to worry about, but first there is just a couple of slowdowns out there as we're getting a look at the roadways. First, starting off with that live look at our SPID Skycam. Quite a few cars heading out for that Monday morning commute, but luckily here on SPID, flowing nice and smooth along it. And as we get a good look at that traffic flow across the entire region, like I talked about, we're seeing a lot of greens on the map, but still there is a couple of trouble spots. Just like here on 361 between Gregory and Ingleside, seeing some of that slower traffic, maybe to account for an extra minute or two. Over towards Robstown and Cal-Ellen, looking pretty good there on 44 as well as 37 if you're hitting those roadways. So here into the Corpus Christi area, Ocean Drive coming in the clear, although Ennis-Jocelyn, a minor slowdown as you're getting closer to Ocean Drive, just to be mindful of this morning. Now working over towards Flower Bluff Drive coming in the clear, although Waldron Road, a minor slowdown there in the middle of it, and of course up towards the Naval Air Station, seeing some more of that medium traffic up there, so maybe accounting for a couple extra minutes in your neck of the woods. Other than that, though, looking like a good and green morning as we're kicking off our Monday.
Stephen, thank you so much for that. So CCISD leaders will meet today for a big topic, right? It's to finalize their decision on whether or not they will close 7 schools this year. In a meeting on Friday, the school board members and district staff outlined reasons for this potential closure, such as low student enrollment, facility maintenance issues, and the big one, that's the budget constraints.
seeing fewer students, and when that happens, it reduces the per-student funding and also budget constraints, which it leads to. The financial pressure, inflation has increased operational expenses, insurance, fuel, maintenance for many, many districts, including our own.
So the district faces a $27 million deficit. Closing the schools would save $11 million. So if the district does go forward with these closures, students would be reassigned to other schools within CCISD. So pay attention, parents. Fannin Elementary students would be rezoned to Berlinga, Garcia, and Hicks Elementary Schools. Castores and Sanders Elementary students would get rezoned to Dawson, Galvan, Los Encinos, and Yeager Elementary. Travis students would be rezoned to Allen, Houston, Shaw, and Zavala. Brown Middle School and Haas students would be rezoned to Atkins, Grant, and Hamlin Middle School. And Martin Middle School students rezoned to Cunningham and Driscoll Middle School. If consolidation is approved, the proposed effective date would be August of this year.
Parents in Odom are expected to speak out today at the Odom Edroy ISD board meeting about the arrest of an Odom High School athlete charged with indecency with a child. Last week, parents spoke with neighborhood news reporter Adam Beam about the incident, and it happened on December 9th during a bus ride home from a high school basketball game. One parent in particular spoke with Chris 6 News as long as they remained anonymous. They said their student was assaulted on the night in question, and the parent said coaches did not get up when the commotion was heard from the back of the bus.
Like I said, I put my trust in the school to keep my kids safe, and if you can't keep high school kids safe, how can I trust you to keep any younger kids safe?
The district released a statement last week saying out of respect for the ongoing law enforcement investigation, the district is unable to share specific details at this time.
Turning to your national headlines now, President Donald Trump is reportedly weighing a series of potential military options in Iran after recent protests against the government in Iran has led to dozens, hundreds, in fact, of deaths, as well as numerous arrests. Reed Binion has the latest.
The death toll is mounting in the nationwide anti-government protests in Iran. Hundreds of people have been killed and thousands arrested. As the protests enter a third week, President Donald Trump says Iran called him to negotiate.
The leaders of Iran called, they want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States. Yes. We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up.
But the president also said his administration is weighing possible military intervention.
We're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options.
Iranian officials, though, warning American military bases and shipping lanes in the region will be treated as targets for retaliation if the U.S. intervenes militarily. This as outrage, opposition, and grief mount in the streets of Tehran and around the country. Families chanting anti-government slogans as they attend funerals for protesters killed in recent unrest. Protests also taking place in the U.S. Anti-regime demonstrators calling for change. Regime change for Iran. In Los Angeles, authorities detained the driver of a truck that drove through a crowd of anti-Iranian government protesters. Police said one person was struck, but the injuries were not significant. Authorities are working to determine the motive. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Well, hey there, and happy Monday morning, Coastal Bend. I'm meteorologist Stephen Jones. Taking a live look at our USS Lexington camp, thanks to First Community Bank, both the Harbor Bridge and the aquarium putting on a good show for our Monday morning, but probably jacket-worthy as you're heading out the door. 52 degrees is what we're looking at, with even some 40 sprinkled in as we're working inland. 45 degrees is that feels-like temperature out in Freer this morning. 47 as you're working up towards Mathis, a little bit more comfortable closer to the coast. 55 at the Naval Air Station, feeling like 53 as you work your way into Port Aransas. For our dog walking forecast to start off the week today, we've got Elvis Rodriguez here, not quite ready to let go of the Christmas spirit. Of course, it is a wonderful time of year, so I don't quite blame you too much, Elvis. And looking at those temperatures for Elvis's walk, going to be climbing through those 50s by 10 a.m., pushing into those 60s already by that lunchtime hour, and winds are going to be out of the north around 5 to 10 miles an hour, so maybe even worthy of keeping that jacket in here by pretty much all day. Forecast highs in your neck of the woods are going to be chasing anywhere from those mid-60s closer to the coast, closer to that 70 degree mark as you work your way a little bit further to the south, but really close to average. We're supposed to be about 67 degrees for this time of year, so we will definitely take it for our Monday high. That Doppler radar out there starting to see just a few scattered showers trying to push into the southwestern portions of the coastal bend. Questionable if it's even reaching the ground though, because dew points closer to the surface, super dry air. Dew points are in the teens to upwards of the 30s out there, so might even dry out before it reaches the ground. But luckily, as we go into tonight, you see this swirl of low pressure over the Baja Peninsula. That's actually sending some Pacific moisture into our mid-levels of our atmosphere here in South Texas. That's the driving factor for a lot of these showers that we'll see working into the area. And how that could shape up on the future tracker, well, we'll start to see some better chances going into tonight. I do think this model is slightly aggressive on the timing of it, but it gets the message across for sure. By late tonight into the overnight hours, starting to see a few more of those yellows and greens showing up on the radar out there. Not everybody going to get that drink of rainfall, unfortunately. It is pretty spotty activity, but we'll take every drop we can get, holding on to some of this activity into the overnight hours. And then one final stretch of it as we go into tomorrow could see just a little bit more of that green and yellows on it. That's going to resurge back into the area, but like I said, still not going to be a total drought buster for us here across the coastal bend. In terms of temperatures, looking at the upper levels now, you can see focusing on the Midwest, this first core of cold air really bears down by that Wednesday night into Thursday timeframe, but a little bit of a double whammy on the way. By Friday night into Saturday, this next core of cold air right back into the Wisconsin area. Going to see a secondary cold front make its way as far as the Lone Star State. This second cold front a little bit more questionable if it will reach the coastal bend as of right now, but either way, it does look like it's going to keep us around that average close to 67 degrees for the 7-day forecast. That's where we're going to be, in those 60s and 70s. We have a little bit of rain as we're kicking off the week that could hold out into tomorrow, but then if you're not a fan of the cloud cover or the rain, more sunshine on the way as we head into Wednesday through Friday. Those cold fronts hold us around average in the upper 60s, if not the lower 70s, and then looking like a beautiful weekend with temperatures around the 70s and then plenty of sunshine on the way.
Stephen, thank you so much. So Macy's will soon be closing 14 stores nationwide, including the one at La Palmera Mall right here in Corpus Christi. The company says the closures are part of Macy's strategy to shrink its footprint in the United States. The department store chain says its goal is to better serve customers and support long-term growth. And the closures will allow Macy's to invest more in stores that are doing well and expand its digital presence. The closures are expected to happen early this year. So if a business closes or files for bankruptcy, you could be left empty-handed, even if you already paid for goods or services. So Scripps News Group consumer reporter John Matarese looks at how you can get your money back in these situations so you don't waste your money.
Imagine ordering thousands of dollars of new furniture and discovering the store you ordered from is closed and your order canceled. And worse, getting your money back could be a giant headache.
It hasn't been a happy new year for some furniture buyers.
We started to kind of wonder where the furniture was.
Jen and Rick Hausner are among several shoppers who reached out after ordering living room or bedroom sets from American Signature and its subsidiary, Value City Furniture. The company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in November. The Hausners learned their orders were canceled. Even worse, they say the store they ordered from would not provide a refund.
At that point, I was like, we're not seeing this money back.
This is a Chapter 11 bankruptcy for a reorganization, not a Chapter 7 for liquidation, so they're still operating.
Attorney Danny Karen says under similar circumstances, your first phone call is to the company to see if they can remedy the situation with stock it has available. The next step is filing a claim with the bankruptcy court.
Get the claim date because you're what's called an unsecured creditor.
Karen warns the process takes time and does not guarantee all of your money back. Which brings us to step 3, calling your credit card company.
And ask for a chargeback to dispute the charge because you didn't get your product and you didn't get your money back.
We reached out to American Signature.
You can't talk to the news?
Where an agent sent us to a What's Next page on its website. The company states we're committed to doing our best to fulfill customer orders, but says if we're unable to fulfill an order, customers may be able to file a claim with the bankruptcy supervisor. The Hausners worry that could take months, if not years, to resolve.
To look at that and say we've lost almost $2,000 is definitely a struggle.
So know the steps to take if a business files for bankruptcy so you don't waste your money. John Matarese, Scripps News Group.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
All right, we're starting off this list in your neighborhood. Testimony continues today in the trial of former Uvalde school officer Adrian Gonzalez. Prosecutors allege Gonzalez endangered dozens of students by failing to quickly confront the shooter who took the lives of 19 children and 2 teachers in May of 2022. Gonzalez has pleaded not guilty. So far, the jury has heard from at least 10 witnesses, including a teacher that lost 11 students on that day and a Texas Ranger who investigated the crime scene.
The Department of Justice has launched a criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and the renovations of the Federal Reserve's headquarters. Prosecutors accuse Powell of lying to Congress when he testified before the Senate Bank Committee last June about the cost of the renovations. The price tag on the renovations is about $2.5 billion. Powell has pushed back against accusations that the project was mismanaged.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments this week in 2 cases over whether sports bans violate the Constitution or the landmark federal law known as Title IX that prohibits sex discrimination in education. The first case stems out of West Virginia's ban on transgender athletes that was blocked in lower courts. The second case comes from Idaho, where a college student challenged that state's bans. Justices are expected to release a decision by the summer.
The Department of Homeland Security has released new video that shows another angle of the Minneapolis shooting involving an ICE agent. The roughly 3.5-minute video shows the moments leading up to the shooting of Renee Good. It appears to have been recorded from a home overlooking the scene, and you can see several vehicles parked along the street, as well as a number of ICE agents. You can also hear car horns, sirens, and people yelling. However, the video cuts off before the moment of the shooting, and the FBI is investigating.
So, you know those decorative crosswalks that are meant to stand out and intend to make crossing safer? Well, starting up today, the city will be replacing those decorative crosswalks to comply with a new state mandate. The city tried to appeal to allow for these crosswalks to be excluded, but they were denied. In total, 6 crosswalks along Shoreline Boulevard will be repainted in plain uniform fashion. The work is expected to last several weeks.
Construction along Everhart Road in SPID continues this week. On Tuesday, the southbound Everhart between SPID and McArdle will close from 2 to 6 a.m. for concrete pouring if weather permits. And starting today, there will be some closures on South Shoreline next to Cooper's Alley. And that's over by one of the L-heads on the bay. But folks, don't you worry. If you need to get to the L-head, you can still just follow the signs for a detour.
On to what's trending now. This year's Entertainment Awards season has kicked off with the 83rd Annual Golden Globe Awards. The big film winner of the night was One Battle After Another, with 4 awards, 3 for writer-director Paul Thomas Anderson. HBO Max's acclaimed medical drama The Pit also took home Top Drama. Noah Whale also won for The Hits. He took time during his speech to thank healthcare workers around the world. Some of the other winners include Sinners and K-pop Demon Hunters. A lot of those I kind of really want to see as well. We've seen K-pop Demon Hunters, which was just a delight.
I can't say that I've
You
seen
didn't
it because
like
I fell asleep.
Oh, wait, you did fall asleep.
I did fall
That's
asleep.
like 90% of the shows that we actually watch.
Yeah,
falls asleep on.
it's the work schedule. We got to get up early for
Yeah,
work, right,
yeah.
Steven?
Yeah, you know, it makes it just a little bit tough. But so you said K-pop Demon Hunters was pretty good because I'm looking for reviews. Okay, I've heard good
I liked
things,
it.
so might be worth it. But yeah, just like you, I haven't seen the majority of what was listed there, unfortunately. But luckily, looking like a pretty good week to maybe even a good morning to stay inside, watch some of those shows. Only 52 degrees out there so far. 55 as we're looking here at our Snoopy Skycam. Here's a live look thanks to Matthew CCAC. Those winds, though, out of the north around 10 miles an hour. Definitely not making it any easier. If you're going to be heading out, definitely want to bring the jacket with you. But like we said, not looking like too bad of a morning to maybe stay inside and watch some shows if you can. For temperatures in your neck of the woods, going to be pretty chilly inland. 47 degrees there in Freer, but feeling like 45. 48 as you work up towards Cotulla. 52 here in town, and just slightly more pleasant towards the coast. 55 as you work your way towards the Naval Air Station. For our dog walking forecast to kick off the week, we've got Elvis Rodriguez here today. Not quite ready to let go of the Christmas spirit, but hey, that's not too bad either. It's a wonderful time of year. Those temperatures for Elvis's walk are going to be climbing through the 50s through 10 a.m., then pushing into the 60s as, of course, we're going in towards that lunchtime hour. But those winds today going to be sticking out of the north pretty much all day, around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Forecast highs in your neck of the woods going to be chasing the mid-60s as you work your way along the coast, maybe even closer to that 70-degree mark as you work your way a little bit further south. But overall, we're really close to that average. Average for this time of year is supposed to be at about 67 degrees. For that Doppler radar, I'm starting to see a few of those isolated showers pushing into far southwestern portions of the coastal bend. We do have very dry air at the surface, though, so it's still questionable if this rain is even reaching the ground as of right now, but looks like as we go into tonight and tomorrow, those rain chances is going to be improving just a little bit. That's all thanks to this swirl of low pressure we're seeing over towards the Baja Peninsula. That's sending some decent Pacific moisture overhead into South Texas. That is the driving factor for a lot of this rain we're going to be seeing into tonight. And when we get this kind of setup, they're not going to be major downpours or those thunderstorms really setting up, but a few more of those greens and yellows is typically what we see whenever we deal with this frontal overrunning pattern. Now, not everybody going to get a drink of rainfall. Notice how spotty this is showing up on the future tracker, but there might be a few good winners out there that pick up a good quarter of an inch, maybe even upwards of half an inch of rainfall. Going to see a final stretch of it as we're pushing into our Tuesday, maybe a few more rounds going into tomorrow night, but overall still not that total drought buster or, like I talked about, major downpours out there. Temperature wise, when we work up into the upper levels, going to see that next cold front pushing in by about Wednesday night into Thursday, and then another one as we go in towards that Friday night time frame. That's going to hold us in our temperatures around that average in the upper 60s, if not those lower 70s. And luckily, if you're not a fan of the cloud cover that we're starting off the work week with, as we head into later this week, more sunshine on the way and looking like a great weekend in those 70s with just temperatures around average, you guys, and lows in the 50s.
I still can't believe it's winter.
Yeah,
After seeing this.
Luckily, it's where we're supposed to be here in Corpus Christi, 67. So, yeah, luckily we're not seeing any of those freezes, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't want to wrap those pipes again.
No.
Hey, thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We will be back at 12. Hope to see you then.